welcome to Afternoon Express. My name is Bliss and it's time for another delicious cook-along. So I hope that you've got everything that you need in your kitchen ready. Now, ladies, we're going to be showing everybody in South Africa the versatility of a popular ingredient, which is eggs. A delectable egg souffle will be our starter, followed up by a yummy Yorkshire pudding served alongside steaks, ladies. Topping it all off is an incredible aromatic lemon meringue and rose-scented Pavlova. Now, ladies, this sounds absolutely delicious to me. I mean, how excited are you to just dive into all of this, ladies?
I'm like tripling,
I know. Same here.
Let's start.
Because eggs are the simplest ingredient, right?
Okay. Yes.
But we all just seem to overlook the amount of things you can do with eggs.
But you know what I'm enjoying? I'm enjoying the excitement in this kitchen because the ladies haven't even said who they are. This is the beginning of the show, ladies. We haven't started cooking just yet. South Africa, please may you help me welcome Chef Anele into the loft. And of course, her backing act. I'm talking about none other than Chef Dumi bringing it in the kitchen. And we cannot forget the giggling gourmet herself, Miss Jenny Morris. Welcome back to the loft.
Thank you, darling. Nice to be back.
Now, ladies, we can start cooking.
Let us begin.
But on social media, I also want to find out from you, if you have had to remove one type of food off the face of the planet, what would it be? I know mine is definitely not eggs. So, ladies, we're making it sweet today. We're making it savory today. And Dumi, I'm going to need you to take me from the top, girl.
Don't worry, girl. I got you. Okay. So we were mentioning how eggs are the simplest. Like, everyone actually buys eggs at the end of the month. But all we ever do is scramble, boil, or fry. I am trying to tell you guys, there are so many things. Actually, there are 100 ways to make an egg, to cook an egg.
How many?
100.
And
We'll only show you
101.
We'll show you 3 recipes today. So let's start it off. Everyone has a station with everything they're going to need today. And before we get started, the first thing we all need to do is some coloring to our main ingredient, which is going to be our Bliss plain today. We're using the plain flavor, but it does have a range of other flavors. So all you need is to just take a quarter cup. Everyone has a quarter measuring cup thingy next to them.
Is that this one? Okay, got it.
And we just pour a quarter of a cup of the Bliss into our water.
I like Bliss on its own as well. It's delicious on its own.
That's
with
basically
honey.
one of my favorite things. You can enjoy it as is, so you don't need to worry about
So
that.
what is this going to
So this
be
is
at the end?
Yes. So normally when people make when they make soufflés, you'd have milk or you'd have some type of liquid.
Yeah.
So this is the liquefying part of our soufflé.
Okay.
And the other thing about it is, like we mentioned, it's got 10 nutrients in it. 10. So it's perfect for this recipe that we're trying to use right now. So once it's mixed up, don't worry if it's a mess. Like we said, it's a kitchen. If it's not a mess, if it's not, you're not cooking if there's no mess, right? So put it aside. We're done with that for now. And then we're gonna start chopping up because we want to make sure that our soufflés have as much flavor as they can. You could just make a plain soufflé, but it would be boring, and that's not how we roll in the Afternoon Express kitchen. So what we're gonna do is, everyone has a different type of filling. I've got some chives and parmesan. You've got some spring onion and Dijon, whole grain Dijon mustard.
Okay.
Alice's got, because she likes it spicy, she's got some... She's got some whole jalapenos, some parsley, and some garlic. And then Jenny's got some dark, decadent, delicious, amazing chocolate.
I like
and
dark.
some cayenne pepper that are going to go into. So you can get chopping with all your ingredients there. You can chop your jalapenos. I'm going to chop my chives, and I'm also going to grate my parmesan. So basically, just keep chopping up, and all of this is going to go into our soufflés. I'm not sure if any of you have actually had a soufflé before.
Ladies,
We love soufflé.
soufflés are delicious, and that's what I love about them. The versatility of a soufflé is almost as versatile as an egg. So as much as we all here in the kitchen have our own different, unique, individual ingredients that truly does shine a light as to our personalities in the kitchen, at home and on social media, let us know what kind of filling you would love to fill up your egg soufflé. Show us on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, and I'm sure we'll all be enjoying along with you. I mean, mine definitely speaks to my personality.
Exactly, girl. You are hot and spicy.
Guys, can I give you an interesting fact about eggs in South Africa during lockdown?
Okay.
I read the other day that we actually ate 50% more eggs during lockdown in South Africa.
My word.
I can understand why. Number one, that they're quick and they're instant.
Yes.
If you're going to put a meal together, you've got hungry kids, you know, scrambled egg on toast, quick.
Exactly, and the thing is as well, it's very economical.
It is. It is very economical.
So what do I do with my chopped up stuff now, Toon?
Where do
I go with it? Where do I go with this?
It's not a race.
This is a race. My chocolate's harder than your spring onion.
Okay,
Once that is done, we can now switch on our stoves and get cooking with the rest of our ingredients here. All we need to do now, please, ladies, Anal and Jenny, please make sure it's on 200 because we know what induction stoves can be.
Mine is at 800. Okay.
200.
Perfect.
200.
Okay.
Perfect.
And
cool.
ours
Once you've done that, on the lowest possible setting is perfect. Cool. So once we've done that, we're going to get started with the custard part of our souffle.
Okay.
Right. So all we do now is we've got some butter. Everyone has a few knobs of butter there.
Yep.
Just put it into your pan. Or
So
into
are we
your
making like a bechamel?
There we go.
It's more like a roux.
It's like a roux.
for
So
me,
it starts off with the roux, and then basically we just keep adding and topping
So
up.
we're
and
making a
forth.
white sauce. For the normal people out there, we're making a white sauce.
Yes, let's not get too fancy. It's a
not too
bechamel.
fancy.
It's a white sauce. So
Yeah,
go in
yeah.
with your butter. Once your butter has melted, you're going to go in with some of the flour, and then you
Okay.
can add your flavorants there. So the rest of us will be adding like spices and cayenne and so forth. But unfortunately, you will have to add. You have to chop that garlic a bit further.
So it's so ironic that you ladies said this because I almost stopped the kitchen and said, everyone halt, look at my good garlic crushing skills. Because I remember my friend Jenny Morris here taught me to crush a garlic like this. So I'm here crushing it up, but no, I must chop it.
Chop, girl.
Crush and then chop, my sweet. I'll put a bit of salt on there. It'll help it go small.
So you just now mix this.
Yes.
So this is just to cook the flour out when you do this.
Exactly. So we're cooking off our flour now because we don't want that flour taste inside of our souffle.
Yeah.
So whenever you make a bechamel or a white sauce, make sure that you cook the flour out. Otherwise, you will have that bland flour taste that we don't want. And it is also at this point, like we mentioned, where you add all your spices. I'm going to go in with some cayenne pepper.
What is this? What did you give me?
I've given you some Spanish smoked paprika.
rica, señorita.
Some salt and
I'm
pepper.
actually busy with a Spanish language course.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Interesting.
Oh, so Anele, let's find out more about that. I mean, I'm very curious because a lot of people in South Africa, some of their tips and goals over lockdown was to learn a new language.
Yes. Well, I'm doing it online, so it's I'm just doing like 10 minutes per day. Si, señora.
Okay. What
I'm
she said.
busy learning how to make Spanish chorizo sausage.
Oh,
I am. Yes, my friend has a piggery, so.
Now, do we have to find out from you? You said we must salt and pepper.
Yes.
And then?
Yes, and
that's
this is
all the
point where
flavoring
you
I
add
have.
your Bliss milk or Bliss mixture into.
This now.
Yes, just add it in there.
Okay.
Add it all at once, don't worry about it. And then try as much as you can to whisk it all up.
And
Oh,
get rid of
Timmy,
the
I
lump.
love this. And when you instructing us like a real teacher.
Yes, Mama, this is what I'm here for.
And I hope one day we must get like a viewer in to come and cook with us.
That would be such a great idea, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so South Africa, we're about ready to give a little recap, I think, ladies.
course.
So, Domi, can you just talk us through from the beginning of the recipe?
Definitely. So what we all started by doing, the first step that we did is we mixed some of our Clover Bliss with a bit of water just to loosen it up because we need that liquid for our bechamel or the base of our souffle. And then after that, we chopped up all our toppings that are going to go inside. I chopped up some chives and some parmesan. Everyone has different fillings.
Does that put this in now?
Not yet, not yet.
We're just quickly doing a quick recap here.
All right, and then
okay,
after that, after we've chopped up everything else, we just made sure we started our roux. We've got some flour, some butter. We added flour and all our spices, salt and pepper. And this is where everyone is right now. We are there. But like we mentioned, Jenny's making a different version. She's making a chocolate version. So she's added all the liquid and the chocolate has been chopped up. It's put on the side. We've not done anything yet. This is where we stop for now, right?
Okay,
Because
perfect.
we've got a couple of other steps to go.
Delicious and all of that after the break.
With the creamy decadence of double cream bliss from Clover, yogurt has never been so irresistible.
Made with love by Clover. Express yourself.
Tonight at 7:30, The Insider SA explores the theme of texture. Join us as we head out on a foraging expedition with a top chef. Meet an artist creating one-of-a-kind pieces with coffee on canvas. And a couple making designer fashion from upcycled rubber tire tubing. Plus, see how local mohair is being woven into designer rugs with international appeal. That's The Insider SA. Tonight at 7:30. Repeat Saturday night at 8. Only on SABC3.
Express yourself.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express, and boy, oh boy, have we got the elbow grease down, and we're having such an incredible time. Not only are we deciding to revamp an egg, but we are throwing it down in the most decadent way today with the help of our Clover Bliss. Now, South Africa, we have shown you part one of making an egg souffle. We're making a savory souffle, but Chef Jenny here is whipping up something sweet. And if you would love to be whipping it up in your kitchen along with us here on the show, please do head over to our Afternoon Express website, afternoonexpress.co.za, and you could be making Dumi's recipe. Now, Dumsa girl, I'm excited. Everything is looking good. Our roux has thickened up.
Perfect.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So everyone's
consistency.
perfect. Please do a taste test here because there won't be any other opportunity after this. A little bit more seasoning.
Okay, I want to do a taste test.
I'm not putting too much salt because I've got Parmesan, so I need to make sure that I just go very
I definitely need more salt. Thank you for that
Guys,
tip.
there's a beautiful, I've got the mustard in here, and I must be honest to you, it's really tasty. You given me the koroki mustard?
what she said.
That. And it's really tasty.
What is a koroki mustard?
It's like the mustard with the korokis.
Oh yes, the
whole
grain.
whole grain. The
Yes.
grain.
Okay, so you can all take your pots off of the stove because now we want to add in everything else. So all of your toppings, Balisa, you can go in with all of that in there. Jenny, you put it into the chocolate, perfect.
All this stuff.
And just add it in there. Balisa, actually don't go with all, just make it like half because the garlic is fine.
The garlic is too
Yeah.
big. It's going to be too heavy to rise.
Yeah, so
I'm stressed now.
No, don't worry.
No.
a little
You don't
less
want-
of the
yeah.
jalapeno.
Hurt it, break it.
But I want to find out from you, Jenny. I mean, for you, you've definitely mentioned something here that I overlooked. You have to chop your ingredients very finely for your
Yes.
souffle to rise.
Because the thing is, the thing about a souffle is it's the egg white, it's those little bubbles. And if it's too heavy, it's going to sink.
Yes.
So you want it nice and smooth and smaller, darling.
I don't know about that. You see, I think it's very essential that we go onto our Afternoon Express website so that you can get the nitty-gritties, man. So that you can get those, what's that thing called? Methods,
Correct.
Duza. The methods of making this perfect.
Before you continue,
I've made a huge mistake. There's some egg yolk in my egg white, so it's
Too
not
late.
going to go like all fluffy and stuff, but I'm going to try and get it out. But
I'm glad you mentioned that because this is a very
And
important
now-
tip when making a souffle. If you get any yolks in there, it will be very difficult because you don't want it to weigh heavily. Exactly what you've just said, Jenny. So you want to try and make sure you get no egg yolks into the egg whites. So
the second one was fine.
perfect. All right, cool. So what we're going to do now is, if you can, I wanted to mention this beforehand, have your yolks separate and that, but I wanted you to keep one egg white for us, but that's fine. You can whip it up as it is.
I'm doing everything wrong, but I'm enjoying this.
It makes it even more fun, right? So we're going to go in with our mixture here. Before you start whisking, you ladies are so... These girls, put your sauce mixture into your egg.
Wait, but then where does this go?
Into that little bowl.
Which one?
Let me help you.
Which bowl?
This one is for your egg yolk.
I have
That's
a
for your egg
problem.
whites. But then keep the one egg white there, that's perfect, and the other one in the big bowl.
Okay.
Perfect. And then let's just whip it all up. So your sauce and the eggs, you're now whisking together. Jenny, you've probably got your eggs into the chocolate now.
It's only one egg yolk,
Only
right?
one
And
egg
two-
yolk.
But I have a problem now because I've used my whisk and it's got all the fatty egg yolk on it, which means that my little air bubbles are going to be coated in fat and they're going to flop.
Would you like me to quickly rinse your whisk
Let
for
me
you?
give
Pam?
it
Yes,
to
please,
me,
baby. Or give me the electric beater.
No. I'm copping out today. I'm definitely using loose.
Thank you, baby. Can you make sure it's well washed, please,
All
Anel?
right, and then you just mix in the rest of your sauce into your egg yolks and just make sure it's fully incorporated there. And this is the egg part of our souffle. And now all we need to do is whisk up our egg whites your egg white with the cream of tartar. Just whisk that up until it forms stiff peaks.
We're going to be here all day.
I know. Whisk it, baby. We need to whisk it even more.
We're going to pass this on to you.
I mean, Jenny, how is the sweet one going? Do you think that your flavors are coming in together quite well?
My egg yolk is in there. This was at the right temperature, no scrambled chocolate.
Okay, Jenny, you're still telling us about your sweet little souffle there.
Well, see, it's very important when you're adding to a hot base that you bring the temperature down and cool it, because if you put the yolk in there too soon, like Timmy will tell you, we're going to end up with a lovely scrambled chocolate thing, which is
not good.
She's not good, no.
Okay, cool.
Perfect. You are playing with it, girl.
Listen,
Alpha grease. You have to whip the air into it.
No.
As in,
Pali,
like,
they've
put your
got
bowl
something
sideways, Pali.
against us.
And just put the egg. Okay, fine. Let's do this, Pali.
Yeah.
Let me whisk it for you.
Hi, again. Unsapon.
Okay, let's do this, Palisa. I'm going to whisk it for you, and then I'll pass this to you, and you just fold it into your egg mixture.
Will do. That's easy enough, and I think I can do that. It seems as if here that if you've got the right tools in the kitchen and the right cutlery, this is what's going to help you get further in the souffle. But if you've got the time, and if you are no stranger to whipping it up in the kitchen, essentially, it might end up looking like that. Beautiful.
Put it on your head, Pali. See if it...
I'm scared.
It's perfect. That's mine.
Okay. So then I'll keep this perfectly whipped up yolk. This is going to be in the line
yes.
to go next.
So you can go next.
And then I need to start folding it in, eh?
Yes.
I've got a tip for you.
You don't take away those bubbles. You need it to be nice and fluffy.
Do 1 spoon first, just to loosen up your mixture.
Okay, maybe you should help me, Jenny.
Okay, 1 spoon first. 1 spoon of the white into that, and don't beat it to death.
1 spoon
of ponton into untoni.
And then?
Okay, now just fold it. Take it and fold it from the bottom and over. The bottom and over. It'll just loosen up your cheese sauce for a couple of minutes, and then
I'm already feeling
you
that.
can do it maybe in 3, hey Tums? Do it in 3.
So should I put more? The problem if you've still got some of the mixture in there, some of the white egg yolks, that's fine. Let me see. Perfect. Just keep folding it in. Yeah. And then we're going to start putting our mixtures into our ramekins.
That's as stiff as it's going to get now on the show.
Yeah. And then all you do now is once you folded it in, we're going to put it into our ramekins. And all we want is we just want it to be all the way to the second rim. If you don't have a rim, just leave about 1 centimeter towards the top, because we don't want to overfill it, because it will then...
Okay.
May I have my egg white back, and it must be well mixed. Otherwise it's going to flop. Machine.
Okay, South Africa, whilst they're trying to whip it up with the machine, I think, Anele, it's cool. Just go in there with your machine. Mine is looking really good. I'm folding it in quite nicely, and I'm definitely seeing, Jenny, what you're discussing. Yes. The idea that it ends up loosening as you turn and as you fold. Yeah. Stunning. And as soon as I've done that...
Don't overstir and put the last bit in.
I can put the last bit in.
Can I help you? Vahabicina.
Okay, whilst you do that, we don't have much time. Put it in.
Yes, well, I haven't even added mine yet. Oh, this is too watery, girls. This is going to flop. This is going to flop.
Okay, whilst I focus on my food, I hope everyone at home is cooking along with us. Just head over to our social media and, of course, our website if you want to find out how to be whipping up these delicious souffles. So, Tumi, as I'm filling mine up to that first rim of my ramekin, this looks delicious. Do you want to give us a quick recap before we head over to our break?
That's it. So we've just added the rest of our ingredients here. We added our egg yolks. We added the sauce into the egg yolks, half of it first and then the rest of it. Folded that in together. Then we whisked in our egg whites and then folded all of that together to give us a nice little souffle. And I'd like everyone to pass me theirs. We're going to put them here. We're not going to cook them now.
Yeah, this is going to flop.
Another thing, we'll just have to whisk it again. It's okay. So what's going to happen now is that we're going to put these aside. We can't cook them now because if we do, they're basically going to flop when we take them out. So we'll actually just put these in once we get our desserts ready. Okay. So we'll leave this to chill and then get ready for the second part.
Love that. Okay,
Yeah,
so...
not happy.
Oh,
not happy.
no.
Not
Okay, we'll
happy.
have to do
Because my
yours.
egg white is no. It's yay, but die gaat doen it. You didn't flick it, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is,
But it's a perfect example of what not to do.
Yeah.
Is you need to have it. It cannot be runny, but you never know our luck, hey, girls?
Absolutely. So, ladies, whilst we try resuscitate Jenny's souffle, this is essentially the reality of life. And if you want to get real in our kitchen, stay tuned because we've got more cooking coming up.
With the creamy decadence of double cream bliss from Clover, yogurt has never been so irresistible.
Made with love by Clover. Express yourself.
Tonight at 7:30, The Insider SA explores the theme of texture. Join us as we head out on a foraging expedition with a top chef, meet an artist creating one-of-a-kind pieces with coffee on canvas, and a couple making designer fashion from upcycled rubber tire tubing. Plus, see how local mohair is being woven into designer rugs with international appeal. That's The Insider SA, tonight at 7:30. Repeat Saturday night at 8, only on SABC3.
Express yourself.
Welcome back to the Afternoon Express Kitchen. I hope that you're having a fantastic Tuesday afternoon. Now, we're continuing on our journey of learning the versatility of eggs in cooking, and we're finishing it off with the Yorkshire pudding and steak recipe. Now, South Africa, if you are as excited as I am for this recipe, head over to our Afternoon Express website, afternoonexpress.co.za. Let's find out what Dumi has for us.
Yes, so we went to souffle. Where are souffles from again?
France, baby.
You heard it from Afternoon Express first. We went to France, right? And then we decided we're not full. We want something else. So now we've taken it to England. We're having some Yorkshires.
We're taking it to England.
Very good.
Dr.
So we're
in
going to
the
make some Yorkshire
society.
pudding. So you're going to make a delicious salad to go along with our dish.
But it looked very Italian to me. We're going to zhuzh up those English...
Hey, the people
Pass
will
up,
eat what
pass
we
up,
feed them.
pass up.
This is South Africa.
Yes.
So yes, we're going to make a nice tasty salad to go along with our Yorkshires. And Jenny's going to be making our steaks
Yes,
the
yes.
way we like them. So.
Of course. So you can tell me how you like them. Would you like them well done? You're allowed to have them medium and you're not allowed to have them dead.
Well, why don't you ask South Africa how they like theirs done?
I know what's going to be said. Because if it was my husband, he would say, just cut off the horns and lift its tail.
I love that. Okay, so I'm just going to put my order in straight away. I love my medium rare.
You're my child.
Another one for me, Jen.
Yeah, boy.
I guess we're all going medium rare then.
That's the way to do it.
It's the only way.
I'm loving it.
Cool. So while you get cooking with our steaks and you've already started with the salads, you and I are making the Yorkshire pudding specifically. And the one trick that people have to remember with Yorkshire puddings is that when you get the batter into the pan must already be hot. So we've already preheated that already, but now you're going to start oiling it for us. And so all you need to do is just brush it up with some oil and then just add a bit of oil into it, and then it goes into the oven. And then I'm going to get the base of our Yorkshire pudding started over here.
But Toombs, explain to the people, Yorkshire pudding is not sweet. It's not a pudding. Because for the way I see a pudding, I want to add custard over it and I want to eat it with a spoon.
And that's why I like how people of the world make food and they call it fancy names. And you're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to have pudding. It's not pudding.
But you know, the English would do like a steak and kidney pudding.
Yeah.
You know, so that is a word that is very, very...
But you know, la Mzansi, in Africa du Sud, c'est pie. C'est pie, steak and kidney pie, or of course something like this. It's something more savory. So it's so interesting that it doesn't matter where you go in the world, we all say things differently, we call things differently, but it all is the same deliciousness and that same taste. But what I love about this is that we're still incorporating that same Clover Bliss. It hasn't left us. It's been walking with us from the beginning of the show. Can you see the versatility that we're incorporating in your kitchens?
Exactly. So what I've done now is I've added some flour into my bowl and then a little bit of salt. So this is the dry ingredients of our... Okay. I caught it.
You caught it?
I caught it.
Yeah.
It didn't touch the flour. So we've got our dry ingredients here, which is the flour and the salt, and then our wet ingredients that are going into it. So it basically is like a pancake, but a savory pancake of sorts. It's just the technique in which it gets cooked and not necessarily the...
Yeah, and it goes all puffy. And then you serve it with meat, and then you pour the gravy
in the
over
center,
it.
yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely delicious.
Yes.
And so the important part with the Yorkshire is to make sure that you get rid of all the lumps. You do not want any lumps into it.
Okay.
So I'm going to make sure, like elbow grease, earlier on it was you.
The most important thing is meat should always be at room temperature.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise you're not going to get a medium rare or lift, cut off his horns and that kind of texture out of your meat. The important thing is I've just salted mine now. Some people put it on before, some after. I like to salt my meat just as it's going into the pan, which I've done. And the important thing is, although we're going to flavor our oil, I'm not going to put too much oil in the pan because I don't want it to stew. So I've just put a little bit of oil onto my meat, and I'm going to put the tiniest bit because it's also got a lovely natural layer of fat. Do you want me to take the mafuta off, or you're going to eat it?
I'm going to eat it.
Love it.
No.
Domi, do you also like the fats just
I
like
love
me?
the fat, girls.
It's a flavor.
Piece of steak with a nice piece of fat.
The
on
only
top.
lean meat I'm okay with is with the chicken breast or
Yes,
mince.
yes.
But the rest, give me my fat.
If you were to wipe off one ingredient off the face of the planet, what would it be?
It would be misworms. You know, the worms that you find, because people eat them. They put prawns in them. They taste like poo. It doesn't matter what you do with them. They do not taste nice. So they don't feature for me. You find them on the dung heaps with the cows. And I've eaten them and I don't like it.
It's a no-no.
That's a no. Tell me.
That's basically what I'm waiting for, Bale. Your pan is supposed to be getting into the oven and heating up. Girl, you're getting us down here. Exactly. That's how hot it must be.
The pan needs to be, and the oven needs to be not 180, not 200, full whack.
Yes, so we're trying to get it as hot as possible.
Yeah.
So your oven must be on the highest setting as possible. Obviously, you don't want to burn the ingredients what you're putting in there, but we just want it to be nice and hot so that the oil in there is going to heat up. So basically, the moment we drop our Yorkshire pudding into the pan, the cooking starts.
Yeah.
basically, because it's going to puff up into a little pillow of
Goodness.
amazing. Oh,
Yeah,
girl.
And a little pillow, an empty pillow that awaits beautiful gravy to go onto it.
And I mean, you have traveled the world. I mean, we were talking right now about the different kinds of dishes. And what's the one dish that you've tried that you went overseas that had an egg that you actually have enjoyed? I know there are many.
Yeah. It was in China. It was in Shanghai, and on the streets, they make these big pancakes, and then they put actually chives and spring onion in, and they fold it over, and you have it as a breakfast.
Oh, wow.
And it was absolutely delicious, quick, easy. Okay, did you tell the people I'm making a salad for Pali?
You did.
Yeah.
This is all your favorite ingredients. Olives, tomato, feta, and I'm just going to drizzle a bit of balsamic over it and a bit of olive oil.
Anele, whilst you're doing that, indeed, I did say that she's got some of my favorite ingredients to incorporate in a salad, but the meat also is one of my favorites. I mean, tanda inyama, South Africa, and it's looking mighty good over this side, huh, girl?
Hello, baby. It's almost done. Look at that fat, how nice and crisp it is. It's delicious. Butter in the pan, so we are flavouring the meat with that. Look at that. Beautiful colour. I'm going to literally give it just a couple of seconds.
Wow.
Very important to have a hot pan.
Perfect. And that is essentially to get the perfect medium rare flavour.
Absolutely. And
Stunning.
the
I
most
see you also
important
got some
thing.
rosemary in there.
Well, this is a bit of time, but your rosemary would be absolutely perfect. And so what we want to do here is I'm going to save all of this and just pop that onto the meat because it makes a gorgeous garnish.
Wow.
And we're going to make a lovely buttery Bliss
Sauce on the side.
sauce on the side.
I'm kind of liking the sound of that. But the most important thing here is that we are making no ingredients go to waste, because I believe that with what's left over in your pan, you're going to be creating a beautiful, decadent, creamy sauce using our Clover Bliss.
I certainly am. I'm going to deglaze the little bit. I just popped another little bit of oil in it. I'm going to switch off now, and I'm going. Look at that.
Wow.
Isn't that beautiful?
Wow.
I'm going to just pop that through there, and we're going to. Should I put? I think I'll put it on the side. Hey, the sauce, and then you can just sort of add it yourself.
Oh, wow. So you can
Yes.
have the option of enjoying it with the meat or without the meat.
Yes,
Beautiful.
or on
But I'm
the
going to have
side.
all the sauce in the meat. Loving the
Yes.
fact that you're just putting huge dollops of that
Oh,
sauce
yes.
in there. Is there any type of ratio one must look after?
No, your
I
mouth
think it's
will
all in the
just
eye
tell
and
you.
taste.
That's basically why I became a hot kitchen chef and not a pastry chef.
Yes.
Because of the whole you
Science.
must measure. I don't measure. I just want to gooi.
And now you need to gooi that dough in there for the Yorkshire pudding.
So let's do that. I've got a ladle over here, and the aim is also not to fill it up. And also, when you make a Yorkshire, you must make sure the mixture sits for at least 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you go in. So
I don't see
Is there a reason for that,
any
Demi?
lumps.
For letting it sit for 20 minutes?
because you want to make sure that there aren't any lumps, because I've been whisking it this entire time. So we just want to make sure that it sits and it allows for that curd, the pancake flavor to be nice and
And
fluffy.
also the batter, all those little bubbles that come to the surface gives you a nice big rise per size.
You see, for me, South Africa, this is what the value of these cook-alongs are. It's about more than just creating food in the kitchen and having fun with our family members. It's about educating each other. There are a lot of terminology and jargon that we use in the kitchen every day that sometimes you might not be able to identify or understand, because I know if you tell me to wait 20 minutes, I'm going to make those 20 minutes 10 minutes because I'm hungry and I'm just going to put it in. But if I understand, Jenny, if I understand why we're doing it,
That's exactly
I will abide by the recipe.
Yes.
And it relaxes the gluten as well in the flour, which will give you a much lighter texture when it comes
Okay,
out.
Tutfa, how long do you bake that now?
So we're going to bake this for 20 minutes, but we do want to just keep an eye on it, because all that's going to happen, it's basically going to, it's as if it's a quick, watching a flower bloom.
I know, it's
just
beautiful.
going to bubble up and become like a little cloud of, guys. So we're going to
Deliciousness.
let this cook while we just prepare for the next step.
Because I believe that we've still got so much more cooking
much.
coming up. But before we get into that, let's give South Africa a quick recap as to what went into this delicious treat to England, of course, making a Yorkshire pudding. And we whipped up some steaks as well. Dumza?
Yes, so I had over here some flour, salt, which I whisked together, and then I had some of my milk and some eggs, whisked those together, added that into the dry ingredients, made sure there are no lumps, and then just left it to chill while you were oiling the pan for us. And then Anal over here
I made a salad, this beautiful salad for Palesa, because I think we're going to tuck into the steaks and the sauce and the rest.
And talking about steaks and sauces and rest, you gave such key tips as to, first of all, how to prepare the meat,
Yes.
how to fry the meat, and then how to accompany it with a most delicious sauce. So do you want to give us a quick recap?
I want to give you a recap. All I did was just oil the meat slightly, gave it some salt and pepper, got the pan nice and hot. But the most important thing, like we said, was room temperature. But the most important thing now is not to cut it before the time. It needs to rest.
And to make sure that that sauce was absolutely right, Jenny added some delicious Clover Bliss. And if you want to get the recipe and the ingredients list for cooking up this magic in the kitchen, just head over to our website and you could be making this along at your home. But we've got some more deliciousness coming up as we make a beautiful Pavlova. All of that coming up.
With the creamy decadence of double cream bliss from Clover, yogurt has never been so irresistible.
Made with love by Clover. Express yourself.
You only have one skin. Nourish it and wear it bravely.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express, and today, South Africa, our Tuesday cook-along is all about the versatility of eggs. How many ways can you whip up and enjoy a delicious egg? We're loving the versatility of the ingredients, but more than anything, we're loving how easy it is on the pocket. So South Africa on social media, please do head over. Let us know how much you are loving eggs. But also remember the SMQ. We've asked you if you were to cut out one ingredient off the face of the earth, what would it be? Dumi, I'm not going to get it now, but think about it towards the end of the show. I want to find out from you.
Okay.
Now, nothing beats a decadent dessert after a delicious meal. Our lemon meringue pavlova with fresh fruits is one such dessert that is set to impress and bring all the warm spring feels. Now, this is what I'm talking about, Jenny.
So, darling, we're going to make a pavlova. We're going to use the white of the egg.
Okay.
And we're going to whip it into a frenzy with some sugar. So we're going to make a meringue. And the most important thing, if I can give you some hints and tips, which I will, I've got my girls with me. So we're going to do the fruit on that side. And Nell's going to make the lovely creamy. She's going to cut those strawberries into beautiful thick rings. You girls are going to make the beautiful flowers that are going to go on top. It's a rose petal. And we're going to sugar it. And this is going to be, we'll be princesses when you see this, because that's going to be the queen of desserts. It's going to be good.
So, I love that. Okay, so you've got something, those huge peaks just look gorgeous.
Yes.
Shiny.
So, very shiny, and this is the way a meringue should look. So I've started it off because you talk about elbow grease. Hello, I'm not going to punish myself because of what you did to me last time. But so what we've done here is, when you make a meringue, the most important thing is don't like mayonnaise loves a little bit of oil because it'll emulsify it, but these little bubbles do not want to be encased in any fat. So that is like the absolute demon in here, is not to get any egg yolk into it. Okay, so you separate them out and you start off with some beautiful room temperature eggs. But here's the tip: I normally keep my eggs in the fridge, because when you're trying to separate the egg white, it thickens it nicely, and then I just let them stand there and go.
Voila. Okay.
I just want to mention something before you go and Balisa. Remember, we were using egg whites and egg yolks when we did the first recipe. We saved some of the egg whites for this, so it also is economical. So no wastage.
Yes.
Makes sense. Absolutely. I'm excited to do that. So whilst, Jenny, you're starting with those delicious meringues with those peaks, I want to find out here, when Anele, you've got that delicious Clover Bliss double cream thick yogurt. Now, I'm excited to have a taste of that just on its own. The flavors for me are just out of this world.
But before we do that, would you accept my rose?
I will be happy to. South Africa, it's so funny that we're doing this, because not only is the color quite appropriate, Anele, but my name means flower, Balisa.
Wow.
So this is definitely going to come in handy today. I'm ready to just enjoy the decorative process of this.
That's cool. And I'm going to use Clover Bliss yogurt. I love it. It's like double thick and cream, and it comes in different flavors. This is my favorite. It's lemon meringue. I can eat it just like this, as you said, or I'm going to add it in cream that I've whipped here. So I've added some cream in here, and I'm going to fold it through.
Okay, fantastic. So whilst you're folding that through and you're getting that delicious creaminess in there, I love the fact that that also just is a source of 10 cases of nutrients. I think that for me is just top level in terms of delivering on everything delicious in the kitchen. But I also want to make things beautiful. So I believe that that's what these are for.
Yes. So I think maybe you can give her tips on that. But yeah, basically we're going to be making the cherry on top, but we're making it with petals. And you mentioned something very important, Jenny, that we have to make sure that we use organic roses, otherwise because they're not edible.
Yes, well, you're going to die, darling, and we don't want anybody dying today. So are you listening carefully to me?
Yes, very carefully.
Make
Girl,
sure.
I actually remembered this from the last cook-along, and I've been telling all of my friends and family that you see us decorating our food with petals and flowers, but yay, be careful. We need to use ones that are organic, that do not have pesticides or anything. So don't worry, girl, I'm a natural woman and I can multitask whilst I'm taking apart these gorgeous flowers and finding out how I'm going to entertain them and make them pretty. That also looks delicious. What are you doing there?
So what we've done now is I've whipped them up. The most important thing to get the perfect meringue is to don't be impatient. You were talking about if it's 20 minutes, you're going to do it in 10. What you have to do is make sure that you put the sugar in slowly, beat it in. And I normally use caster sugar because caster sugar is nice and fine. It dissolves quickly. And so don't throw it in too soon, otherwise it's going to be very, very gritty and you're going to have a bit of a flop. So now I've added a bit of corn flour. Don't you like your meringue when it's all nice and chewy on the inside? So that's going to help. And I've given some acidity, which is very good for the eggs. It boosts those little bubbles. So we've got vinegar in there.
I never thought of putting corn flour in meringue, so thank you for this. Like, I'm not a big meringue person. I've probably done it like twice.
Yes.
So I'm learning today. So it's the cornflower gin, it's the eggs that needs to be room temperature. You use caster sugar and you beat it for a very long time.
Okay.
Yeah, well, if you have electricity, baby, it's like minutes.
And then how do you do these petals?
I know, you guys have definitely abandoned me. I've been asking South Africa for so long, what must I do with these petals? I'm just seeing Tumi, they took them apart, so I took it apart.
Well,
but let us go through it slowly, guys.
All right, number one, egg white can be used as a face mask, so don't ever throw those egg. Yes. So don't throw the egg whites away, but they also can be used as glue. So what you have to do is you've got to break up that egg white so that it's not going to stick like that, okay? So you just want to break them up so they're nice and airy, and then you paint your petals on either side. And then,
this?
Yes, absolutely. So break it up, sweetheart, just like a little whirlpool. Hurt it. No. That's my girl. Yes.
You see, details are important. This is what chefs think this comes naturally. It doesn't. We have to teach us and be very specific here. And then after using it and beating it up, do I just go straight into the petals?
Yeah, what you do, paint it on both sides.
On both sides, Jen?
I like, because you know what? Because these are edible, and there's nothing worse than biting into a little pup flower. So they're crispy and they're delicious. I would love you to try one. I have made some up front.
But what I want to ask you, isn't it going to taste like eggy? Or
No.
do you bake them? Or
No,
What do
just-
you? But how's the egg? I don't
It
understand.
dries just naturally
Can I
in the
taste one
air.
of these?
Yeah, just feel how brittle it is.
Oh, wow, I can hear that
Oh,
crunch.
it's crunchy.
You see?
I could hear the crunch from
see?
here.
Yes.
Oh, Jen, and it's got a beautiful rose flavour. Just
Yes.
a little bit.
Yes.
Okay,
And
stunning,
they're
ladies.
easy and they're delicious. And as I say, as long as you haven't sprayed them with anything, you'll be alive tomorrow to tell the tale.
I'm going to add my Clover Bliss now, guys. It's double
nice.
creamy Clover Bliss yogurt. It's delicious.
What flavour
And
is
it's going
that?
to. Oh, this is the lemon meringue.
Okay. How fitting for the recipe,
I
right?
know. I can just imagine this in pancakes. It's so versatile.
yes.
In pancakes, on top of cakes, on top of
Or
everything.
just on its own. Knowing me, I'd probably finish
wonder if-
that tub in a day.
I wonder if I can make a face
In the
mask out of
morning.
this, but I think I'll eat it beforehand.
Yes. So, ladies, not only are we using ingredients here that are good for your belly, but we can also someone put this on our face.
You can. Oh, you can indeed.
And guys, Jen, if you wanted to make like a choc chip, if we use Clover choc chip because it comes in different flavors. Like I think the strawberry would have worked here as well.
The berries, yes.
The strawberry
fine.
one. And then if you want to do like choc chip, you can
Yes.
also use chocolate in your meringue, perhaps.
Yes.
Can you put chocolate in your meringue?
You so can, and then you can like drizzle chocolate all over it once it comes out. I say take the recipe and own it.
Yes.
The recipe is just here. As long as you know how to make your meringue, it can be any colour you like.
Yes.
And what I find is I sometimes put a little bit more colouring because when it goes in the oven, the flavour does sort of fade out a little bit. Okay.
So, ladies, in terms of a recap, we have done so many steps in the kitchen here today, and I think that South Africa really does want to find out, in terms of dessert, can we get a little recap?
Of course you can. So now we're using eggs. We've got egg whites and sugar. Thank you so much, my love. Egg whites and sugar. And we've got some vinegar and corn flour, a little bit of colouring. We've beaten the eggs into a frenzy. Look
Put
at
it
that,
together for us,
darling.
Gina.
Must I put it together?
Yes, and talk us through.
Yeah, well, let's just talk it through as we go. So,
Go ahead.
are you sure? All right, give me a nice spoon so I can just spoon onto here.
Use your palette knife so that you can actually show the people how you spoon it in there.
We've made everything, as you can see. Now we're going to put it together, which is my best part. We have the lovely Clover Bliss with lovely thick cream. And we're going to just pile the berries on. Have a look at that. Lots and lots of berries. Any berry that you like. How's that look for me?
Pretty.
Right, and then we're going to go like that. You just let it just ooze down the side. Isn't it good?
I'm excited.
And last but not least, our beautiful petals are going to go onto this. Yes.
I think Tumi's petals might be better than mine.
Tumi, have we got the ones that you've made up already?
These already. We
I
did
think
these ahead of time, so these are nice and crisp and
Okay.
delicious. And
I'll
I
take
would
mine
put
back.
the last layer just before it comes to the table and put the petals on right at the end. And the reason I say this, let's just do this, Tums. Can you hear how crispy they are? We're going to just pile this onto the top. And you've got some sprinkles there, Tumi. Have you got?
No, they're actually with Palisa over there.
Ali, give me some of those gorgeous sprinkles, darling.
Oh, yes. And what are these sprinkles? The color on them is also gorgeous.
They're
It's like
gorgeous.
pearls.
Yeah.
You can tell us, Tom.
These are basically like pearl sugar in essence. So it's basically sugar. You can,
There
it's
we
edible.
go. And we'll just stick some of those over the top. You can have that, my
Looks
love.
like you, Polly.
And we done. We done. We done. We done.
And that is it.
That's it.
Stunning. And you know, Anele, don't think I didn't catch that there. You told me that it looks like me, beautiful and fluffy. If you want to be beautiful and fluffy and be cooking along, just as we did right here on Afternoon Express's Cook Along, please head over to our website. But we are going to be sitting down, ladies, and enjoying all of our day's work at our kitchen after these.
With the creamy decadence of double cream bliss from Clover. Surrender to a heavenly taste of lemon zest. Bliss lemon meringue. Double indulgence.
Made with love by Clover. Express yourself.
Back to our Afternoon Express Cook Along, where we have answered all of your excellent questions. Now we hope that you've had this mouth-watering meal along with us and you've been able to follow along successfully as we cook along this deliciousness. Now, ladies, let's dig in.
Let us.
The soufflés are divine. I'm tasting mine. I taste the mustard. And Zanzi, when it came to the table, it was high. But a soufflé normally does that. It just sinks a little bit, but it's divine.
I mean, that looks delicious,
Oh,
Jenny.
look at Jen.
Have a look at that, people. And I was so panic-struck. I really was.
So this is what's interesting to me, ladies, about food and finding out things in the kitchen, is that I thought that my souffle, I had nailed it, but it turns out that I actually didn't fill it up enough. So it actually didn't raise as much as I needed it to raise. But here is Jenny's, and she was so scared. And now look.
It's fabulous. And you know what? Sometimes if you have too much filling, you can just make a little collar, a little greaseproof paper collar, so that you can take all of the
I don't understand what you just said. Please say it again.
Okay. So just say sometimes you want it to rise up, really rise up.
Like
so,
the chefs,
like
on
the chefs
television.
Want. Yes. So then you just take some greaseproof paper, stick it on the inside, standing up like that, and then you put your filling in, and it'll just keep rising. Yeah.
That sounds like a delicious trick. I mean,
yes.
I'm very excited to get into everything else we cooked today because we definitely did make a treat. But Dumza, you haven't answered my question, my love.
Well, before I go into that question, I just want to say this is quite an extraordinary meal to be sharing with such excellent women. Anyway, I don't think that there's any particular food that I would want to take off the face of the earth. I mean, don't knock it till you've tried. There's certain things I haven't tried that don't look edible, but I mean, try it first, and then there's nothing really.
I want to retract on what I said. I've tasted mupani worms, and I think it must go off the earth. It mustn't go off the earth, but it mustn't go on my plate.
Well, I know everyone from Limpopo and Polokwane and Giyani are all saying, I never South Africa. I mean, I love the fact, though, that we are introducing each other to new ingredients in the kitchen. I know for myself, South Africa, my number one ingredient has to be, funny enough, an eggplant.
Oh, wow.
Speaking about eggs, aubergines for me are just a no-no, but Anele made me a delicious aubergine puree on social media, on YouTube. Just go back to our 2 weeks ago, our cook-along.
It's like a Turkish dish.
And we made such a delicious Turkish dish. But join us again tomorrow for our Wellness Wednesday edition of Afternoon Express. Until then, stay safe, good night, and happy eating. Clover has been a part of our South African heritage for over 120 years and wishes you all a happy Heritage Month. Made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.